Okay. We are streaming. Now just to see if the chat is there. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the delay. We are live. Finally. Whew. Dinner decided to be very effective and make me very slow and sluggish, so apologies for the delay there. But we are here to talk. Let's get some... What is up, Mirth? What is up, 481? Let's make sure OBS is looking nice and pretty. Okay. I think I may have to move so chat is actually visible. But while I do that, how is everyone doing tonight? Hopefully everybody is being jolly. Okay. Here we go. Here's chat. So chat is going to keep going down eventually. So we're going to do this and be extra ghetto as we're starting the stream. We're just going to spam the chat for like 30 seconds. So hold on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Alright, there we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. Now chat is visible. Alright. Can Atlas West beat 600? Oh my god. I know, when I was fixing the countdown today, I was like, oh my god, we're so close to 600. It's getting more embarrassing by the day. Oh, don't give them any credit. They're going to do it whether we want them to or not. All right, let's get some very quiet background music for this episode since I'll be talking about by myself. Oh, you know what? Today, let's just find the most long loop of the PS5 menu music, because that is very relaxing. Alright. We definitely do not need... we definitely do not need the, Alright, there we go. Someone, has 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and the 10-hour version, so... Whoever's got that 10-hour remix, we are now jumping in there. Okay. We are starting. Got music, assumingly. Let's check. Make sure OBS is being cool. Alright. You can hear music. Chat is up. Everyone's being good. Alright. Hello once again, 481. Hello, Mirth. Hello, Killamo. Hello, Khalil. And hello, Jake. Hello, Bun Boy. How is everybody doing tonight? Oh my god, Killamo. Could not agree more. That UI, it's just like an ASMR experiment. I can't even tell you how relaxing it is. So yeah, guys, this is just going to be a chill little Q&A podcast, talk arena. We can talk about whatever you guys want. So let's just get into this and enjoy episode 195. Let's get one last swig. Alrighty. How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network, Link 195 Live. I'm your host, Spencer Presley. And joining me is the live chat audience on youtube.com/Spencer Presley or Torchwood4SP. I don't really know. Let's be honest. It's a Tuesday night. I just ate a whole bunch of food. I'm ready to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So this week's episode is pretty loosey-goosey. We are living our life. We are now at 572 days without a Persona 5 Scramble Western announcement. So, we're living our best life. But hey, we are now in a post-PlayStation 5 world. It's truly a miraculous time to be alive. Bun Boy, though, being the realist in chat, does say there is a pandemic going on, though. Just to be the realist there. So, first off in chat, I just gotta say, we are 5 days now, as of this recording and upload, into having the PlayStation 5, and a week as well into the Xbox Series X. it's weird. It's weird that next gen is now current gen. My brain is not used to it. I'm coming home, I'm looking at this giant thing next to my TV, and I'm going, oh my god, what is that? And I go, oh no, that's the PlayStation. Really, really crazy. Initial takeaways, even after spending $500 and doing a lot of backwards compatibility testing, I love it. I'm surprised how much I'm enjoying it, how nice the experience is. Obviously, there's a couple of nitpicks you're going to have with stuff every now and then, but I'm just like such a fan of, I think, how the launch went. I think all the titles that really came out are great. Depending on what you're into, there's a little bit of something for everybody. I'm a little biased, though, because I do now have Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, so my PS5 is just a little bit weebier with the only next-gen puzzle game. But, yeah, so let's just kind of get into chat, and then whatever downtime we have here, we will talk more about whatever. So, alright, our first one comes from Jake Massinez. And by the way, anyone watching live, feel free to just spam comments and we will catch up whenever we go here until I either run out of water, energy, or pass out on stream. First one comes from Jake, who says, where did you buy your PS5? So, a little bit of a fun story here. I got my pre-order for the PlayStation 5 all the way back in September when that went live. And the way I was able to actually get my pre-order was a friend of the show, Greg, who's been on a couple of times, specifically the PS5 episodes. He hit me up and said, hey, in-store pre-orders are up. Depending on your store, you can have this many different pre-orders. I'm in Kansas, so not a huge rush or really that far for how much a GameStop's going to be for me. I live within like 5 minutes of one, so immediately just took the wife, got in the car. Yes, I was that guy who, as soon as pre-orders were leaking as going live in stores, I thought, I don't want to trust online, especially this year. I do not trust just delivering a PlayStation to my door. And in-store pickup options were going to be crazy limited, so I was very, very grateful and able to get one at GameStop. It was like $50 down. The pickup process was super, super painless. I kind of missed having a midnight launch, but just the fact that we were able to walk in on Thursday after work, get my system, pick up my games, and just come home was really, really nice, especially with everything going on. But I know a lot of people, pretty much primarily most people out there, got all of their systems online. So after watching all the craziness that was people trying to play catch up in terms of, oh, does Amazon have it, or what's the plan with this, I was really, really glad and fortunate I was able to skip out on that and just pick up my PS5. And thankfully, the boot up process was perfect. I haven't had any problems with the system. Though, actually, funny enough, the weirdest thing I had with it was on launch day, because I was doing so much putting disc in, putting disc out, installing, uninstalling, checking footage, recording. I had one moment of thinking I had a messed up copy of Demon's Souls, the remake. And what was so funny is I found out that my disc had only partially installed like half of it, because I had been taking disc in and out, and I thought, oh, Demon's Souls must be done. It was ready to play, but it wasn't fully installed, and if you take it out during that process of a manual disc, the game just thought the install process was done. So then, like a day later, I had Gnarly over to check out the PS5, and I was like, oh, hey, check out Demon's Souls with me. And it just was not working. Basically reset the PS5, put the disc in, reinstalled everything, was totally flawless. So that one was totally on me. Let's see. Next one comes from... Gotta make sure I can go in order here. Kilimo says, yeah, PS5 UI feels very, very good. Yeah, I do not miss themes at all. If you check out my video on Twitter I posted kind of showing off how all the games just take up way more space when you're hovering over them, I think it's just a way cleaner look. Jerson, who I swear I probably just totally destroyed your name, so apologies. Jerson Martinez says, why shouldn't I play vanilla? I prefer it over Royal, TBH. Jerson, if you're hearing this, please let me know. So, basically, this week's podcast art, I put up a bit of a... I guess it would... Some people thought of it as gatekeeping-y, but I was honestly just trying to be more jokey of, hey, if you have the PlayStation Plus collection, please don't let this be your only experience into Persona 5. And what I meant by that was, like, we're in a world now where Persona 5 Royal specifically is so cheap that, like, this week alone it's $20 if you want, like, a physical copy. I cannot believe at that price, like, what a steal it is. But yes, even though you're having a choice of playing Persona 5 Vanilla for free, because even if you fell in love with it and thought Persona 5 is, like, your favorite thing of all time, it would just... I just don't think there's any way I could recommend to someone, hey, play this original version, and if you love it, there's Royal. By the way, you'll have to replay all of the original one as well. And it just, like, kind of rubbed me the wrong way of, like, hey, it's cool, it's there from a backwards compatible version, but hey, guys, like, if you haven't played either, just do Royal. And I thought, well, clearly that's not going to be that controversial of something to say, just due to the fact that it was like, well, no matter how you really feel about Vanilla or Royal, Royal has everything Vanilla has, so why not just go to Royal, even if it costs a little bit compared to free? Obviously, a lot of people online did not feel the same, so that shows me for trying to gatekeep very poorly, apparently. And speaking of gatekeeping, I need to actually tweet that the show is finally live. Alrighty. Sorry about that. I'm very bad at typing and talking, and I can always edit this out later. I know you guys are very patient for me, so thank you very much. I don't know why I found this so funny. 481 says, you really are a rare person, buddy, in terms of preferring vanilla over royal. Yeah, everyone I've personally have talked to about this, everyone's like, oh yeah, that's a really weird opinion. But if you go and look at Twitter and even some of the YouTube comments where I comment on this, people are like, vanilla's a lot better in terms of difficulty balance or just other stuff. But like, there were other weird takes that like I just could not like wrap my head around, such as like people saying you need to play vanilla to appreciate royal, and I'm like, yeah, if stuff was missing, I'd understand that. But it's like, that's like saying, hey, play Catherine Classic before full body. It's like, why? All of Classic is in there. At least with Catherine Classic, you have an instance of, well, there's some stuff removed, but it's so superficial, you're not really missing out that heavily. Alright, so back to the questions. Okay, people says, I'll probably end up buying a next-gen console on the Facebook Marketplace. Okay, please do not do that anytime soon. All the next-gen systems I'm seeing right now are all like in the $900 to $1,200 range, and yeah, PS5 and Xbox Series consoles, you're definitely going to want to buy at MSRP, and if you can avoid scalped prices, please do. Mirth says, very important question, does the PS5 play DVDs in high quality? That is a really great question. I've tried it with Blu-rays, I've tried it with Ultra HD. Now, I know it's an Ultra HD Blu-ray player, so you would assume, but we're going to just do a really quick exercise. I actually have it right next to me. Hold on. Alright, I'm trying to find like a random DVD that I can pull up. Yes, yeah, so it just pulls up like a regular video thing of just saying like it's like a movie format disc. Yeah, so as long as you have the disc version, any DVDs will work. It's funny, just because I have such a massive DVD collection, but I can't think of the last time I watched them, especially if I have watched something with a disc, it's just always been a Blu-ray or whatnot. I don't even have any Ultra HD. I was actually thinking it's really funny, now that Xbox Series games and PlayStation 5 games are all on Ultra HD Blu-rays. Have you guys like ever seen any anime be sold in Ultra HD 4K? Like the only one I can think of is that Akira re-release recently for the whatever 30-something anniversary. Let us see. Besides that, oh yeah, Mirth needs an excuse to rewatch the Attack on Titan DVDs. Yes, your Attack on Titan DVDs will be safe, so do not worry. Khalil says, I'm personally going to wait until next year for a PS5. Khalil, I think there are a lot of people in that boat of not only if you just want to wait until your financial system is better, or even just, hey, I want to wait till there's more games. That totally makes sense, because it's like, hey, just think about it like this. No matter what the situation is right now, it's like the longer you wait, the more options you're going to have. You're going to have more games. You're going to have more stuff to play. You're going to have more features. Like, if you wait longer, you're just going to have a whole lot more things available to you than even at launch, whether in terms of just stability and stuff. So, while having it day one at launch is something really nice and something that was really important to me, I've never been one of those people that are like, if you don't have it at launch, then what's the point? It's like, I'm just as interested to talk about the PlayStation 5 or any game, whether it be the first day it released or 10 years after its release. And yeah, Mirth, if you want to feel very old, just let everyone sit down and think about... just let everyone think about the fact that, yes, say it out loud with me, everybody, PlayStation 4 is now last generation. Very, very weird. I more find it weird when you see games now looking ahead that are only coming out on PS4, and it's like, oh my god, yeah, like, think about it. When Nocturne comes out, there won't be a PS5 version, and I will want a Nocturne on PS5 so bad. Nier's going to be a really weird one of like, yeah, Nier's only going to be on last gen, and a bunch of things that are going to kind of stick around that, thankfully, because they're backwards compatible, it's not that big of a deal. It's just kind of an aesthetic thing or like a technical limitation. It's like, I was thinking about how the Kingdom Hearts HD collections 1.5 and 2.5 all came out after the launch of PlayStation 3. So there were so many games even in that like frame of time that were just like, oh my gosh, like PS3 games just kept coming out for the first couple of years, even exclusives that never made it back to the system. Just think about Ultimax. Ultimax came out a year after the PS3. Sorry, Ultimax came out a year after the PlayStation 4 launched, and it never came to current last-gen consoles. Alright. Killamo said, yeah, so I did get my PS5 through GameStop, and thankfully, no, I did not have to do the bundle. Those, like, forced bundles are, like, always the worst in terms of, alright, so you gotta get everything we can't get rid of. You gotta get Destruction All-Stars, RIP. You gotta get, like, a headset, but not, like, the good headset. You gotta get a subscription to PlayStation Now. Like, any PlayStation 5 bundle I saw with a subscription to PlayStation Now, I was like, baby, what are you doing? Like, nobody wants a subscription to PlayStation Now. Even if you have one, you're not, like, bragging to your friends about it. Like, man, you gotta play Skyrim on PS3 for this thing. Like, let me show you Oblivion on my PS5. Neopooch X, what up, my dog? Thank you so much for joining into the chat. Mirth, yeah, good PSA. Royal is $20 right now for Black Friday. It's $20 at Best Buy. RIP to 13 Sentinels, which I think lasted for about like 3 hours at $30 on Best Buy. Been telling a couple people, if you are still waiting for that $30 13 Sentinel deal, your next chance is going to be Black Friday for GameStop, and if you pray really, really hard, Amazon's probably going to end up matching that price, so I'll be sure to do my best, basically through Discord, Twitter, or the Facebook group, to let everybody know when these deals go live that are pertinent. Jack Frost says, Catherine is $20 for Black Friday as well, right? Yeah, that is true. Catherine, I think specifically the PS4 version. I have not seen any Catherine full body on Switch deals, but I honestly keep forgetting that Catherine full body came out. Like, I don't even have Catherine full body for Switch on my collection. It's one of those things of like, once that's like in the $25 to $30 range and I see it in front of me, then I would pick it up, but I don't know. Like, Catherine full body on Switch could be rare right now and I would have no idea. It's so out of my mind. Neopooch says, sometimes I wonder if the lack of gatekeeping is what led Persona community to the way it is now. Neo, I wonder what do you mean by that? Because like I hear a lot of people always kind of complain about the community. I'm assuming what you're saying is due to most of the people in the community who primarily play everything 3 and after. I really want to do a video about this, and I want to get a couple of my friends, Daryl and Lauren, on here from Final Fantasy Union to really talk about like gatekeeping in that way of like, I feel like it's so exclusive to Mega 10 fans, and I don't know why. Like, it's possibly something that just kind of has risen out of a mixture of jealousy for success of certain titles and attention other ones don't get. But, like, think about it like this. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. there's no Final Fantasy fan out there who like is like, listen, unless you've played Crystal Chronicles, you're not a real fan or whatever. Like, it's also a long-running JRPG series. There's tons of different types of gameplay, tons of different mainline or spin-off games out there. And it's like, why split hairs over what games you have or haven't played, you do or don't like? It's like, how many Final Fantasy fans out there do you think have actually played even the main 15 games? Like, most Final Fantasy fans you're going to see out there have maybe played anywhere from 1 to 4, like, at max. Like, even just, like, to more newer stuff, like the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy. I bet there's tons of fans who played 14, 15, and 7 Remake who have not even touched any of the Lightning trilogy. Which, by the way, Jesus, Square, please port the Lightning trilogy to PS5. I would be so in for that, you have no idea. Killamo says, Demon Souls, after all the issues I had on the first day, now it is fixed, it was so good. Yeah, Killamo, your issues were actually sounding pretty similar to mine, but I'm glad that you basically reset it and reinstall kind of fixed everything. Yeah, I've not put a ton of time into Demon Souls just because I've been playing a lot of Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, Astrobot, and now I'm kind of getting into Miles, but my big ones right now, and also Puyo Puyo Tetris, that pretty much sucked up my whole weekend trying to work on that preview, which, by the way, please check out my preview for Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 on the PS5. Specifically, I really want to give that a shout out to Sega has clearly not always like been the best at kind of supporting smaller content creators, and the fact that I was reached out to in terms of like, hey, do you want to cover Puyo Puyo Tetris? Not only get like a review copy, but like, hey, we're doing previews like a month before release. Do you want to be part of that like coverage? I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, yeah, I'm a pretty small like creator out there, but just the fact that they reached out to someone like me really means a lot. Even though like I've beaten the drum for that series, it's just like, hey, I know to a lot of people something like Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 might just sound like, okay, whatever, it's Tetris and Puyo Puyo on next gen and current gen, so what's the big deal? But like what I tweeted about, it really kind of rings home of like, think about it like this. Puyo Puyo Tetris is a game releasing in the West first, worldwide in December on consoles, and it's going to be like one of the first PS5 and Xbox Series games for like puzzles and stuff, and it's just going to have tons of features, and it's getting updated with lots of free new modes and characters. And I feel like a lot of people are kind of sleeping on it, but I think it had a good release date with December of like, December is going to be pretty quiet for a lot of stuff. Like, I think honestly the biggest game in December is going to be, at least in terms of new stuff, is probably Immortals, but even that's pretty much like, hey, do you want to play a Breath of the Wild-like game? Here you go, here's another large open world game. Puzzle games definitely always kind of have their livelihood. So that was my Puyo Puyo rant. Puyo Puyo rant. So yes, please check out that preview if you have not. And at the very least, hey, it's a PS5 preview. Not very often that I actually got a PS5 game that is not even out yet on a system I didn't even own like a day before. I thought that was really, really funny. Let's see here. Tony, what is up? Tony says Atlus would probably release vanilla on Steam if they decided to port it. Yes, that is very, very true. Same with Switch. Same with Switch, as Jack Frost says. If you got like vanilla, it would be. I think for as many people who told me vanilla is better than Royal, if vanilla ever got re-released again and it wasn't like no matter what it was on, if vanilla got ported somewhere before Royal, I think people would like just start losing their minds. Juliar, what is up? First says, what Switch owners finally get Persona 5, but it ended up being vanilla. Khalil says, wouldn't mind, honestly, with more people to get experience, but, you know, people would be in an uproar and, oh no, Royal. Istadin says, I wish Royal was more difficult, though, not going to lie. So, yeah, kind of going back to the difficulty of vanilla versus Royal, and something I've really wanted to do another video with talking about, is I personally don't understand why people harp on difficulty being such a big deal, because I feel like the only time you hear people talk about difficulty in Mega 10 is, oh my god, it's way too hard, I had no fun, Or with something like Persona 5 Royal, it's like, oh my god, it was way too easy, I didn't have any fun. Like, I'm never playing these games with, like, just the right challenge, going like, oh my gosh, this was so hard and perfect, I loved it. It was like one of my first sticking points of when I got onto that subject was I was doing the spoiler cast with P5R with Gnarly, and he was like, yeah, dude, the final boss was way too easy. I'm like, dude, the final boss isn't supposed to be easy. Like, the final boss is supposed to be, like, epic in this grand conclusion. Like, no one wants their final memory, or even memory at all of the game, of just being like, oh my god, it was so hard and stupid, I hated it. Like, no one's, like, going to be taking away from him, like, either way too easy or way too, like... Because basically... It's easy to have someone's initial reactions be negative if something is too hard. But, like, unless you're specifically looking for some sort of challenge or resistance and stuff, like, my thing is, like, hey, if the story is good, what does it matter if the gameplay is not challenging you? Now, obviously, yes, you don't want it to be, like, baby's, like, first video game stuff, but, like, even on Persona's, like, easiest mode with, like, safety difficulty or something, I'm still having fun working around with the different elements and systems the game has. This game is still visually fun and interesting and diverse to look at. So, just the whole difficulty challenge thing is just so weird to me. You always hear people complaining for whether it be too difficult or too easy, but you never hear people talk about, hey, why does difficulty really matter? No one's ever praised a game, be like, oh my god, dude, Soul Hackers, perfectly difficult. It's just one of those things that are just like, it's so easy to complain about that one subject, but I just could not get it even less. Daniel 1018 YT, what is up? Thank you for joining us. Murat says, I get what you mean. Royal is the smoother of the games to recommend it for first-timers, but a very casual audience. A free game is a free game. That's also true, but like with the PlayStation Plus collection, if you're looking at a list that has stuff like The Last Guardian, Resident Evil 7, Monster Hunter World, Call of Duty 3 with zombies, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, like, even as a huge Atlus fan, Persona 5 is the weakest thing on that list. Like, I'm gonna pull up the PlayStation Plus collection just because I want to actually have it in front of me. Because I want to go through, like, the amount of games that are on there that I would say are worse in terms of, like, not even worse, but, like, less interesting than P5 are very little. So I'm just going to go down all of these, and I'm going to say whether I would rather play it or Persona 5. There are actually a couple, so. Bloodborne, obviously, better than P5. Days Gone, for me, I haven't played Days Gone, actually. It's one of the rare first-party Sony games I've not played. So I'd be like, yeah, I could see someone going either way. Like, Days Gone is, like, in the middle. It's not better or worse. It's, like, on the same level as vanilla. Detroit Become Human, I'm actually a really big fan of that. I would say go for Detroit Become Human way before that. God of freaking War, like, of course, God of War is a way better experience to play than vanilla P5. Infamous Second Son. Infamous is one of those weird series where, like, I love Infamous, but it definitely kind of, like, Second Son was kind of a weird, flat launch game when you kind of step away from it, so I'd actually say you probably would have more fun with vanilla P5 than Infamous. Ratchet & Clank, amazing game, beautiful game, even though it's tied to the movie that absolutely nobody remembers. Yeah, Ratchet & Clank, way better than P5R. Sorry, way better than P5 Vanilla. I need to just call it vanilla. I'm just going to keep wanting to say P5R. Last Guardian, I know it's not for everybody. Last Guardian, way better. Last Guardian was like GOTY material for me. I love that game. Last of Us Remastered, way better than vanilla. Until Dawn, amazing horror game, way better than vanilla. Uncharted: A Thief's End, an amazing, amazing, amazing game. And like one of the craziestly long Uncharted games ever. Batman Arkham Knight, that's a weird one. That's kind of like Until Dawn, where as many positives as I can say about Batman Arkham Knight, there are also a couple of things that are like, you're okay. Same thing with Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 is like one of the best Battlefield games from everything I've heard. But like, hey, if you're into that, go for it. If not, whatever. Now, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, I will say specifically, Black Ops 3 has one of the craziest campaigns of an FPS I have ever played, and definitely does not get enough like talk in the community or whatnot. And Zombies, with all the DLC being included with the PlayStation Plus collection, it's just like hours upon hours upon hours. Crash Insane Trilogy, another one I'm super biased for, way better than vanilla. Fallout 4, kind of like in that middle of like, hey, it could be better, it could be worse, you know what I mean? Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition. It's Final Fantasy 15 with all of the DLC minus the last Arden one that we got. The amount of time you could put into Final Fantasy 15 alone without even getting into the DLC, way better than Royal. Monster Hunter World, way better than Royal. Monster Hunter Mortal Kombat X, I mean, yeah, P5 is probably better than, like, a God knows how many years old MK game, but hey, there you go. And then Resident Evil 7, one of the best Resident Evil, or just horror games in general out there. Way better than Persona 5. So, like, out of this list of 20 games, like, P5 is, like, up there in, like, maybe the 17th or 18th slot. So, like, hey, yeah, it's cool to have that, but you're also still top 15. That's just my opinions. Are they correct opinions? Who knows? I would like to know what you guys think out of the... Like, I don't know. I just want to see... I've yet to actually meet someone who bought a PlayStation 5, is looking at the PlayStation Plus collection, and is like, Spencer, Persona 5 is the best part of this game. And, like, even just thinking about, like, the free stuff, like Playroom. Play Playroom, for the love of God, before P5. Like... Vanilla P5 is just a... Oh, man, I already see a preview of this in the chat. Somebody is saying P4 Vanilla is better than Golden. I have not gotten to your question or comment yet. Person whose name I cannot see yet, please tell me why in the comments. I would love to hear this. I'm not, like, disregarding you at all. I've actually just... I very rarely see that, especially with P4. P4 Golden has just always been the, like, yep, just play P4 Golden. Alright, catching up with comments. Sorry about the wait. 481 definitely says something I cannot agree with more. For the improvements, Royal outweighs the free price tag. Yeah, exactly. Just quality of life stuff alone. It's like, I know I make fun of it for having a redhead and a grappling hook that don't add that much to the overall experience, but still, Royal is really, really good. Killamo says, funny that I got a PlayStation Vita for the first time last day. Killamo, yeah, I forgot you got a PlayStation Vita. Please let me know what your, like, Vita library is looking like right now. I'm always excited for that. Jack Frost says, no way Atlus would ever do anything special for a Nocturne PS5 version. It would still... that is the saddest part, Jack Frost. You're right. I got my hands on Nocturne Remastered. I played it on PS5. It is still 1080p... 30 FPS. It is ridiculously embarrassing. Like, oh my god. Like, literally, I was looking at Gnarly's version on Switch, because when he brought it over, I wanted to see it in person. It was just so funny of, like, on the Switch, loads are like 3 seconds. On PS4 or Pro, it's about like 2 seconds. On 5, it's 1 second. So it's like, cool. Like, you cut down loading by 2 seconds for this game, I guess. Like, that's the best the PS5 version has to offer. Let's see. 481 says, if they can do that, they'll not only port Persona 5 to PlayStation 4 if it has the PS3 backwards compatibility. Yeah, that is kind of an interesting port of, like, even if it was, like, if they had even just done something like make a native new version on PS5 for P5, that would have been enough for me to be like, hey, it's got new trophies, or, oh, they updated it to get rid of streaming, like, stuff being turned off. But, like, the fact that it is just the same old greatest hits version of Persona 5, like, no one was ever simping for vanilla Persona 5 until I said, just play Royal. So that's why I just think it's so weird. Let's take a look. Very, very behind. What is up? Let's happy together. Nice to see you back in the chat. Neo says, thank you actually for replying back into this, Neo. Neo says, I think action games have more to gain from difficulty anyways. From the whole player getting better and self-improvement JRPG aspects, Western and Japanese games are too easily broken. Mert says, yes, God of War is what I'm playing after Astor's Playroom. Yeah, God of War is so good. And I was stupid late to the party. I played that like a year after its release. I think I played that in 2019, and it was just like so much fun. Eric, thank you very much for popping into the chat as well. Mark Louis Garcia, I've never played a single-player Halo game. I've played Halo multiplayer a couple of times at friend's house, but I've never played it. And actually, one of the funny things about the news today, if like when I finally do get an Xbox Series X, which I'm sure I'll get eventually, but like, hey man, I'm still paying off like my mortgage I bought for the PS5. But one of the things I really want to try, especially after all the updates, is I've never played Halo, so I'd love to go through the Master Chief Collection and just play all of them so much. Because I'm sure it would be so much fun just to go through that. Killamo says, Mirth, definitely play, no Mirth, play Astra's Playroom, it's like 2 hours, then Platinum. Very, very true, yeah. Astrobot, again, cannot believe how smart of a move it was for Sony to make that installed on everyone's PS5. Even if it was something you had to buy, I think it would still be as heavily popular. It is just so much fun. Neo says, P5 isn't even Atlus's best game. It's their most stylish, visually appealing, but I wouldn't even call it their best game they've ever made. That's very, very true, and I appreciate when the kind of talk goes out there of like, hey, it's not even insulting, this is just kind of true, is that whether you love Persona 5 or don't, it is Atlus's rare case of making a game that is universally visually appealing, or at least has had the widest visually appealing look they've ever had. Jack Frost's Infamous Second Son is your top 5 PS4 games? Oh my lord. I'm gonna need a comment about that. Jack Frost, those are bold claims. Because, like, I love Infamous, but Delson is, like, the most Troy Baker as Troy Baker role I've ever seen him in. Those are some bold claims. And I'm not saying I hate Second Son, but top 5? Like, I need that whole top 5 for context. It's concerning, sir. Like I would even put Infamous First Light above Second Son. Top 5. That top 5 is going to be wild, I'm sure. Neo says, Vanilla doesn't have Marie, so... Oh, we are talking about P4, by the way. So I can understand why he would say that. I'm very much in the, I actually like Marie for Golden thing, so yeah, I'll give you that. If you absolutely hate New Girl Syndrome, yes, Marie is not adding that much to the overall game, especially if you don't like her. Mirth brings up another good point. If you guys know anyone who has a PS5 and it is safe to go and visit them, there are not enough hours in the day or videos that I could put out online for me to show you all why the PlayStation 5 is so next-gen, because it is in the controller. The graphics are great, technically it's cool, it's amazing watching stuff load fast. My god, that controller! You have to touch it. Like, as soon as you start, like, actually feeling the haptic feedbacks, you're going to say, wow, HD Rumble is a fucking sham. And then when you start feeling the resisting triggers and seeing how, like, guns feel different, or just the pressure that it adds to things, every game that has it now is just, like, a little bit more immersive and a little bit more fun to play because of it. And so stuff like having it in Fortnite or Call of Duty is just so cool. And even just little things of, like, having little whips come out of the controller and you feeling you web swinging, or, oh my god, like... So, if anyone has ever parried an attack in a Souls game, there's that very satisfying and then you just stab the ever-loving hell out of the person and almost just, like, do massive critical damage. But that hit and sound are just so key to that feeling and everything being so great. But what's so funny is... with the DualSense controller, when you do that, it's vibrating and the noise that comes out of it, it makes it feel like the controller is, like, ripping the life out of your enemy, and it's such a satisfying feeling. It was just, like, it was just almost impossible for me to really describe it, seriously. Sorry about that, guys. Here we go. Alright, here's the person who originally said Vanilla P4 is better than Golden. Melodic Max, thank you so much for watching live. Golden adds extra shit like Marie, the ski trip, and the art style is way oversaturated. I'm just someone who's super duper is, hey man, let's Scooby-Doo the hell out of Persona 4, and I'm fine with it, but like I said, I totally get you. What is up, King Narukami 45? Says, I don't like Marie either, but come on, man. Like, man, if Narukami doesn't even like Marie. Thankfully, though, I'm not the only one. Juliar says, I'm one of the 4 people that actually like Marie. She's cool, IMO. Juliar, you are not alone. There's dozens of us out there, I'm sure. Istiden says, or is Titan, or watch it just be is Titan. I probably be just butchering that terribly. Says, I don't know if I want to get it if it is bad. Let's Happy, as I just totally lose it in the chat. Says, I remember when we were talking about how they could possibly get Nocturne up to 8K on PS5. Oh my god, yeah, and it's like, you look at games like Ori and the Will of the Wisp running in, like, 6K, Devil May Cry and Neo running at 120, and you take a PS2 game and they're like, nah, dog, 30's the best I can do for you. Like, Atlus is... Like, when it comes to supporting their games technically with backwards compatibility, Atlus is like the pawn shop guys, like the Pawn Star guys. They're like, the best I'll give you is 720/30, and maybe it's solid 30. 481 says, I prefer the original story, but quality of life definitely make the battles worth it and better. Mark Louis Garcia says, I like Marie in some ways, but Naoto, best waifu. Now, I will say, Marie, I like her as a character. Marie is definitely not waifu material. I mean, especially with, like, out of all the main girls in P4, she's probably, like, the least waifu material. Neo says, I mean, Golden is better game in general, but Marie is such a drag. Again, if you don't like Marie, it's very easy just to kind of, like, get away from her. Like, the main game does not revolve around her, thankfully. Melodic Max says, re-release characters like Alex and Redux. Re-released games adding new characters like Alex in Strange Journey Redux, Marie and Golden, Ren in Full Body always stick out like a sore thumb design-wise. Yeah, even stuff like Kasumi. I think Kasumi is probably one of the better versions of that, but yeah, it's so hard not to just look at a character and go like, it's the new person syndrome, because like they always bring down the experience. I think no one has been worse than Alex. Like, Alex is easily like the worst part of Redux. Killabo is just spitting facts saying, yes, the PS5 controller does just shit on all other controllers. Yeah, the dual... It's crazy to just, like, think like you're simping this hard for a controller, but it's just true. The PlayStation 5 controller, like the DualSense, it is just, like, the best controller out there right now. And it's crazy. Like, all it took was, like, a couple of days of me using this thing of, like, it feels really good. The white feels really good. Like, the matte texture, the grip on the back, just everything about it just oozes like someone really spent a lot of time and quality putting in that thing together. See, even the P4 Vanilla Defender Max over here says, even with that, Royal is still definitely one of those re-releases where I'm like, yep, this is just straight up an upgrade from Vanilla. Which, hey, that can be as much of a negative as it is a positive, but there you go. Neo says, speaking of Vitas, I haven't used mine in like a year, and when I tried to get it working again, the battery wouldn't charge. Neo, I'll give you a little bit of a heads up, and this goes for anyone else who's had their Vita just not have a charge. Your battery's probably not dead. You just really gotta, like, keep that charge on it for a good couple of hours and keep trying to turn it on, even if it shows, like, no signs of charging. I've seen a lot of people who've had, like, Vitas not turn on in, like, 2 or 3 years, and it just takes a while, but, like, it's, like, just think of the charger as kind of like a defibrillator. You just gotta keep going. Like, if it's dead, there you go, but, like, it doesn't hurt to just keep trying. And, thankfully, getting a Vita fix like that is not the most impossible thing to do. Daniel1018 says, when I get my PS5, I'll probably play Playroom, Miles, and then FF15. Oh my god, dude. Like, so you get FF15. I want to see FF15 on PS5 as well as Kingdom Hearts. I was like, I bet those games are like a night and day difference. Like, I bet it is so much more fun to see those games fully running at 4K with, like, the best frame rate. Thankfully, I've always been playing 15 at a kind of a, like, even lesser experience, because most of my experience with it was just on a regular slim PS4 with FF15, but, like, Kingdom Hearts, I never really felt that constrained because I was just on a 1080p display, and so even with the Pro, you could do 1080p 60 pretty easily. Mark Louis says, in terms of characterization / Sumeri, Marie is definitely, in terms of the story implementation, Mark, I know you didn't mean to spoil it, but... Okay, yeah, but if you get it, Sumeri is definitely better than Marie in terms of implementation. Characterization-wise, yes, but implementation, Marie is definitely smoother. I get you. I forgot that's a spoiler. Hard to talk about Persona 5 characters without spoilers. Neo says, managed to fix it though, had to pull out the battery and put it back in and got it to charging on. Awesome. Okay, good. Glad to hear the Vita's still alive. Everyone in chat, I know I'm still catching up and pretty far behind. If anyone here in chat, even if you don't play it, I just am curious, who actually has their Vita, like, still? Like, you know where it is. Like, it is within house reach. Max says, SMT4 is Atlus's magnum opus. That's an interesting statement, actually. Like, what would Atlus's magnum opus be? Like, what is the Citizen Kane of Atlus games? Because obviously that's a very subjective answer, and I think SMT4 is a great pick, but I think even stuff like SMT4, there are still things that you could probably improve. And I mean, obviously, like, no one, when they say, like, Citizen Kane is the best movie ever, no one's ever like, oh, well, there's no problems with it. So I think if you polled the whole community, like, honest to God, polled every single person, I think you would be surprised how many more people would probably pick 4 over 5. How many more people would pick SMT4 over Persona 5? Just because, yeah, I think in terms of things that have held up receptionally, there is still, like, no one has ever went back to 4, even with all of its faults or whatever it may have. No one has ever been like, yep, 4 was a game. Whereas, like, people, I think, might look at other games like, hey, how much do you really remember from, like, the 3DS release of Soul Hackers? Like, I love Soul Hackers. Like, Soul Hackers is one of my favorite games out there. But I know people out there who are like, hey, what'd you think of it? And they're like, it was okay. It was SMT. King Narakami says, I played Infamous Second Son and I don't remember anything. Yeah, the Infamous Second Son, again, had just one of the most insane developments. I found out later, after its release, apparently that game was such a, like, rushed mess in terms of story. Technically, it's great. But in terms of story, it was such a rushed mess that, like, literally most of the dialogue was improvised. Like, they had the basic story beats, but, like, that's why a lot of it just sort of seems like, oh, cool, you brought all these characters into the story and then never do anything with them. Neo says, I wish Persona 4 was on a home console. Or, actually, no, you are probably talking about, whether it be Persona 4 or SMT4. Persona 4 Golden, specifically, is definitely coming within the next 12 to 30 months. Within the next, like, year and a half to 2. Yeah, Persona 4 will be on PS4 and 5 and Switch or PC. It's happening. It's like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But SMT4 is a tougher one just because those 3DS games are just so visually underpowered. Like, it's not a simple effort to just take a 240p game and throw it onto, like, a console and hope that people are still going to like it. Because even though, like, at the end of the day, yeah, a lot of people really love and really respect SMT4, it's not like it's something where people can just sort of be like, oh yeah, well, you know what, it looks a little ugly, but that was because it was a 3DS game. People are going to be like, no, this is from the company who made Persona 5. Like, this is the company who can make games that look like this, so why wouldn't they try a little harder? Let's see. Is Titan says, 13 Sentinels is my favorite PlayStation 4 game. Again, this is one of those things of, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I think that's an interesting pick. I would love to know what your other favorite PS4 games are. Jiminy Cricket. Boy, that took a lot longer for me to say those words. First, thank you so much for watching and listening live. Jiminy Cricket says, is Persona 5 R easier than Persona 5? Because P5's hard mode is one of the most well-balanced hard modes I've ever played. It was full of memorable moments, but I don't know about R. That's very interesting. Before the Royal difficulty conversation ever started this year, I never actually heard a lot of people sort of praise P5 of Vanilla's original difficulty, but that is interesting to kind of know. Julie R says, I'm planning on buying a PlayStation 5 controller just so I can use it on my PS3 and Switch. That is a true stand-up awesome moment. Julie, if you ever end up doing that, please tweet at us or post on the Facebook group. I need to see you playing a PS3 game with the DualSense. That would make my day. Mer says, now, I'm scared of what the controller is going to do for console dating games in the future. See, you say that, but then you also realize, like, Sony pretty much has, like, scared all of those games off, unfortunately. Oh my god, Kill 'em Over brings a great point. Yeah, horror games. Think about what Resident Evil 8 is going to be like with haptic feedback. You're going to feel the moment you shit your pants before you actually shit your pants. It'll be amazing. Speaking of going back with Max to the Golden versus Vanilla P4 talk, I would still recommend Golden over Vanilla, simply due to the quality of life changes and its greater availability. It's actually funny, if you kind of think about it, even with Steam and Vita, I think even now, Vanilla P4 is still more easily accessible with the 150 million PlayStation 2s people could play it on, and the almost like 50 plus million PlayStation 3s, because you can just still download Vanilla P4 on the PlayStation Store for like $9. Guys, we're almost like at 15 minutes. I was not thinking you all were going to be so chitty chat. I appreciate that. At the hour mark, unless I'm not caught up, I'm probably going to then move over to the pre-asked before the live show questions and sort of wind down to not have us go too long. But thank you guys so much. You guys are being great and talkative tonight. I really appreciate that. Mark Louis says, how is Final Fantasy VII Remake on PlayStation 5? I've not tried it, and mostly just due to the fact that it's a beefy install for starters, but on top of that, I know the loads are better, but a lot of that game's baked-in animations are to hide loads, and I know the textures don't really get that much of a bump with it, so I wasn't in that big of a hurry for it. But hey, if you've not played if you've not played Final Fantasy VII Remake and you have a PS5, jump on that. Like, that's like with Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. Like, you have to play those 3 games. Let us see. Neo says, I wonder if the weird hair thing in Final Fantasy VII Remake is not a thing when you're playing with P5R. Weird hair thing? I'm trying to think what you mean by that. Avengers, I would understand what you mean, but Final Fantasy VII hair, I don't understand. Mirth says, I was considering getting Final Fantasy VII Remake for Black Friday, but I heard from Maximilian Dude that Square will most likely release... Yeah, that's also a weird one of, like, it seems like so... Like, it seems like such easy bait for them to just be like, hey, we're going to release the first remake on next gen because PS4 has the exclusivity for it, but at the same time, if you just play like Remake and you can get it for like $20 to $30 on Black Friday, it is an amazing game. It's so good. Bonax or Bonix, I have no idea, says, Yo Spencer, did you get the No More Heroes remasters? So, I love No More Heroes, I love Suda51, I'm such a huge fan of those games. I did not buy the HD remasters or whatever on Switch, mostly due to the fact that I don't play a lot on my Switch. Even though I love No More Heroes, digital only was kind of a turnoff, and like, if that came to PS5, even if it wasn't physically, just having trophies would motivate me a whole lot more than just having it on Switch. Especially just because I'm going to be really busy this week with all the other games going on top of the fact that, like, I'm getting Age of Calamity in 3 days, so my Switch is not really in any need for attention right now, but I'm so happy it's on there. I'm glad it seems to be doing really well. Love Suda games. Cannot ever get enough of his stuff. Like, I'm such a big, dumb Suda fan. Like, I love stuff like the Silver Case. Like, you don't ever see a lot of people talk about the Silver Case, but those are awesome. And also, now, both of the Silver Case games are coming to Switch, finally. Alright. Back to Talk. King Norikami says, Atlus hates patching their own games. They weren't going to do anything to support next gen. Yeah, you pretty much have to either buy their whole game again for them to start caring about them. Jack Frost, here we go. Jack Frost with the top 5 PlayStation 4 games. I'm so ready for this. Number 5, Black Ops 3, good start. Number 4, Infamous Second Son. Number 3, wow, this is very... I would not have guessed this. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Interesting pick. Number 2, Uncharted 4, and number 1, Persona 5 / Royal. List was probably going to change when I finally play God of War. Yeah, that list would definitely fit with God of War. But Assassin's Creed Black Flag, man, what a get. What a get, Jack Frost. It's called you Black Frost just because of the Black Flag, but that is great. Here we go. Pokemon Master says, what are your thoughts? KN. Here we go. Oh, what are your thoughts on the possibility of Nocturne on Steam? Nocturne on Steam, it's happening. It's like, listen, they had to make this engine wrapper in Unity. The Unity code already has things in base for a Steam version. The only reason the Steam version wouldn't happen is because Atlus just straight up said, no, we just don't like Steam. So it's like the only thing that would stop a Steam version is just from someone pressing the publish to Steam version. And the only real reason it's probably didn't release in Japan with the Switch and PS4 version is just because they don't have everything ready for an international release. And Atlus Japan would not do a JP-only Steam release just because they know that would get modded to hell and immediately translation patched and probably pirated to hell as well. Khalil says, are we forgetting about the magnum opus of controllers, the GameCube controller? Now, I love the GameCube controller, specifically my Wavebird, which I still use to this day. GameCube controller is literally one of those things of, like, it's good for, like, 10 games, but, like, you never heard someone be like, nah, dude, you gotta play Call of Duty Big Red 1 on the GameCube. That's really the best platform for it. Oh, my God. Let us see. Oh my god, Melodic Max, another hot take. P5 Vanilla, you think has better trophies than Royal? No. So I was just talking about this with somebody. Persona 5 Vanilla has a stupid, boring, long trophy list. Nobody wants to play the game twice. Nobody wants to have to play with a perfect guide in front of them for all the confidants. Like, the least fun way to play Persona 5 is to platinum Persona 5. Persona 5 Royal, yes, is easy by comparison because you're not having to do cock and ball torture to get a platinum trophy. And this is coming from someone who has, like, thousands of trophies and hundreds of platinums. Like, Persona 5 Vanilla just has a terrible trophy list. Like, straight up, end of statement. Royal is fun. Royal is a casual, friendly trophy to platinum. And the best part, you still have to beat almost a 100-hour-long game to get to platinum. So it's not like you're playing a Ratalaika game where you get it in 30 minutes. It's not My Name is Mayo. Like, Royal is not a challenging trophy list. It is a satisfying trophy list, which is a big difference. But Melodic Max, man, well, here are the hot takes about the trophy list. Here we go. Dimmy Crow says, wow, 572 days with no scramble. What has this game come to? Oh my god. I can't. Yeah, we're becoming more scrambled eggs than men at this point. With all the people on Switch whining for ports, I have to say, did everyone just throw out their Wii's, 3DSs, and other consoles? Yeah, that's like one of the funniest things when you see like port beggars on Switch. It's like, you guys don't, like, have a PS4? Like, there's over 100 million PS4s, and none of y'all have one? Like, I get it, you want a portable version. Like, trust me, I'm a Vita fan since, like, year one. I'm very familiar with port begging. I have Borderlands 2. But, like, you were so busy port begging, no one ever stopped to think, wait, can I just, like, play this somewhere else for probably a lot cheaper? And just to show how long and slow I am at reading comments, we've now gotten to the Vita response corner. Pokemon Master, thank you for having a Vita. Narakami, thank you for having a PS TV. I am so slow at reading these, but I appreciate it. Melodic Max says, I got the blue Vita Slim around a year ago. That is a great system. Jack Frost says Vita's on my desk. Demi Crow says I have mine right here and I'm playing P4D. What a Chad, Demi Crow. Let's see. King Narakami says 101 in 1 Sports Party Mega Mix is Atlus's mega opus. Magnum opus. It is a game. I'll give it that. Juliar says, I don't even use my Vita very much since I've played almost everything I've wanted to on it, but I have it sitting right on my shelf, on my Atlus shelf, ready to be used. Juliar, I will give you 3 recommendations just in case you are looking for something that you haven't played, or even if you're not looking. The Lost Child, it is just SMT on the Vita, but it's not called SMT. Literally, Kaneko even worked on it. Next, Ray Gigant, an amazingly pretty game on the Vita, is also another kind of dungeon crawler RPG. Super fun. And number 3, sticking with the kind of familiar thing. Oh, Caligula. Yes, Caligula Effect gets a lot of shit, but I still think Caligula is a really under-talked about game that I will probably finally get a chance to do a video on in the year 2030. 481, interesting take. For me, Strange Journey is the best SMT. Yeah, that's definitely one where I always kind of think of. OG Strange Journey is one I always think of as like, yeah, that's probably in my head like their magnum opus, at least in terms of just really nailing it on the head. Here we go. Melodic Max says SMT3, SMT4, Strange Journey, and of course Jack Bros. The contender of magnum opus. Save the best for last of Jack Bros, the magnum opus of Virtual Boy games. Pokemon Master, I'm new to SMT and I've only played Persona 5, Vanilla, and SMT4. Hey man, those are some 2 quality great games there. No shame with just that. And when people ever like come up to me and are like, hey, so I like SMT, or I've only ever played this, or even like, hey, I've only ever played blah blah blah. It's like, hey dude, you can play one game and be a fan. Like, that's cool. Like, I'm never one of those people who are like, oh no, you gotta play this, you gotta play this. Like, everything is cool no matter what you play or even how much of it you played. Even like the fans that like, and I know this gets a lot of shit, but like when people would make fun of fans and just be like, oh man, like look at this fake fan, he only likes Persona because Persona 4 the animation. I'm like, what's wrong with that? It's a great anime. Like, why would you be mad at someone for enjoying one of like the most like fun anime adaptations I can remember in recent history? King Narukami says, Spencer, if Persona 4 Golden comes to home consoles, I'll record myself doing the specialist dance and upload it. I don't think it'll happen. It's going to happen. It's just you got to be aware it's going to be super no-frills. It's going to be the most no-frills port you've like ever seen. It's just going to be the Steam version. It's going to have trophies on PS4, and it's going to be on Switch, and it's going to do stupidly well, and then Atlus is going to be like, huh, okay, people wanted these ports. Mirth says, I feel like I haven't played enough Megaton games to pick up a definitive game. And yeah, I mean, hey, Mirth, unless you've played Tokyo Mirage Sessions Encore, I mean, it is hard to really know the true magnum opus. Jake says, since you feel confident that Persona 4 will be coming to modern consoles soon, what other Atlus games do you think have a good chance of coming to current gen? So, obviously Scramble, because duh. We would do all that work just to not release the game would be very funny. Persona 4, 100% with Golden, and Persona 3, which I'm still not certain, but like in my heart of hearts, I still feel like next year on consoles and Steam, we are getting ports on consoles and Steam of Nocturne HD Remastered, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 3 Portable. At least those 3 like are my lock. Demicro says, I want Atlus to put Persona 5 Royal on Vita just to make all the break-free Persona states, man. Demicro, I get so mad because, like, and not, like, actually mad, but, like, I get, like, kind of sad because, like, I know, actually, just through, like, some behind-the-scenes stuff I've heard, that at one point they were going to put Persona 5 on Vita, and it, like, just never happened because of sales. Primarily stuff like Catherine Full Body kind of underperforming so much. And it's just like, man, imagine if, like, the Vita's last game that Atlus did. Instead of Full Body. Like, Full Body on Vita is an amazing port. But, like, if their last game on the Vita was Persona 5, I think people would have, like, lost their shit. Let us see. Neo says, I clarified the whole gatekeeping thing above, by the way. It was about the weird Twitter cult. And thank you very much, YouTube comments, for jumping. the cult that sprang up from Persona 5, yeah, okay, that kind of makes more sense. With Final Fantasy VII Remake, the whole hair thing was about the translucent dot stuff that we'd be seeing on Cloud from time to time. I think that's probably more of, like, probably a processing error than, like, a PS4 to PS5 fix. But I totally never noticed that. But back then I was playing on a TV that's like a third of the size I'm on now, so who knows. Let's see. Bonek says, you think we might be getting a Switch port of Killer 7, the No More Heroes ports were by the same studio. So, it's really weird that, like, Killer 7 came to Steam and never went anywhere else. Like, Killer 7 was this one game that, like, oh, hey, here's the Steam port, and just never came to any other systems. Like, NAS put it there, and I was like, oh, so NAS is clearly going to do this on Switch and PlayStation, right? And just never did anything. So I would love that, just because Killer 7 is such a cool game, but really, really weird. Mary Nolan says, did Atlus make Friday the 13th for NES is the best Atlus game? Mary Nolan, yes, they did. Atlus Japan 100% developed Friday the 13th on the Nintendo / Famicom. It's a really, really crazy thing. Shoutouts to the wife for watching live in chat. Thank you very much. I think you're doing a dab emoji? I'm very confused by that. Chugga. Pokemon Master says, it's unfortunate that we aren't seeing that much love for Persona 1 and 2, Innocent Sin, or Eternal Punishment. That's just a fact. Julie R says, Persona 4 the animation was the first Atlus thing I ever experienced, aside from that 101 game on the Wii. Yeah, see, like, everyone has their beginnings. Atlus, I'm begging you, please localize SMT2. SMT2 still not being localized is one of the weirder things out there. That's like, imagine if Final Fantasy just straight up never localized 3 still. Like, it was already weird that it took them until the DS remake, but it is continuously weird that, yeah, like, a major, like, out of a game series that has 5, Shin Megami Tensei, we can't get 2. It is the weirdest thing. King Narakami says, real question, if Persona 4 and Persona 3 FES were already on the PSN store for PS3, why have they taken so much time to get these games on modern consoles? So that's more of a technical limitation. So for PlayStation 3, if you wanted to, Sony made a basic emulator that any studio could have their games published on if they wanted to. It was no frills, it was just a PlayStation 2 game running emulated on a PS3. So nothing really too crazy. You're not adding trophies, not doing anything. You just need to fill out the cert, and you're all done. So with PlayStation 4, when PlayStation brought the ability to do PlayStation 2 games on PS4, the way they decided to go about it was they wanted to add new features like trophies, maybe widescreen support, update different things, make it a little bit more friendly for next gen, obviously, so you could like still stream stuff. The problem, though, that came out of that was that it was all developed by this one internal company at Sony, or just a company that Sony had hired, and that is why you saw so many PlayStation 2 ports just kind of, boop, like after the first couple of launches that were really, really big, it was like, oh my god, look at Grand Theft Auto, look at Jak and Daxter. And then it was like, okay, a flood of SNK games, primarily in Japanese, and nothing else. Like, think about it. We got no Sly Cooper, no Ratchet & Clank, none of the older Final Fantasy games. Like, so many games that were just left there to die because Sony was just like, okay, well, we're the ones who have to put the money in developing this, and nobody's buying these PS2 ports. That's why Ape Escape 3 is ready to be published, but just never got published, because they were like, it's not worth it. So that's the sad truth, unfortunately, of like not enough money, even though basically not enough money or time or interest in a thing that probably should have been made a lot easier. Alright, so we're over the hour mark. I definitely need to catch up and then start winding us down here. But again, thank you guys so much for being so talkative. You guys are being great today. Alright, we're going to do a quick read through on the bottom and then go through our questions. Oh my gosh, yeah, Melodic Max, the other way. Yeah, SMT If. Where is our SMT If localization? Like, that one is such a must. Do we grow? Can we get a Jack Bros remake with Peppa Pig? I don't know. Can we? Oh my gosh, that's really, really funny. Neo says, I had many things to say about Atlus's contemporary on a lot of things, especially after them getting the Sammy money from the Sega buyout, but that would require a lot more text. Trust me, I definitely understand. I think a lot of people don't really talk about the fact that Atlus is not just Atlus anymore, and they haven't been for a long time. Atlus is owned by Sega, and Sega, even on their own, is owned by Sammy. So, like, it is a bigger topic for sure, one I'd probably like to get into for another video. Khalil says, kind of was hoping that they would do a simultaneous release with PS4, PC, and Switch for P4G. That honestly came out of the fact that the efforts that led to Persona 4 Golden coming onto Switch, it was literally like Atlus Japan threw some money at a third-party company, they put it onto Steam, they were like, oh cool, does it run? And then they just kind of put it up there. Like, it was very no-frills. There's a reason that they were so surprised about it. They just... They didn't put that much time really into it because they were like, hey, let's put it out there as a test, and there you go. Think of it sort of similar to Catherine Classic. Like, the world didn't get set on fire with Catherine Classic, so why would they think Persona 4 Golden was different? Obviously, release dates and conflicts and timing all make the difference there. Let us see. Pokemon Master, talking about SMT Imagine. I feel like with MMOs, it's a little bit harder to kind of hold a company responsible for keeping things active or whatnot for it, but thankfully I know that there are fan efforts out there for stuff like Reimagine, so if you really want to play Imagine, you do have options out there. Now, Arkami, you are welcome for the information on the PlayStation 2 ports. Yeah, there's not a lot of talk that really goes into it. Most people don't. I have just no life, and so that's why I have all this useless information that no one ever asks me for unless it's on a podcast. Mirth says, will Golden on Switch be $30? I think the plan is this. Console ports will come once 3 is done, or whatever they know they want to do with 3. They're going to sell Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 $20 separately, digitally, and together in a combo pack for probably like $40. Because, I mean, just think about it. If you put Persona 3 and 4 on store shelves for like $40, like, yeah, that'll sell. If Bayonetta and Vanquish can get a Steelbook double pack, like, there's nothing stopping Persona 3 and 4. Alright guys, thank you so much for the YouTube comments. Let me just go through, let's go look at, let's do Discord first. Discord's always, I never give enough love to Discord. But everyone in the Discord chat, you guys are great. If you would like to join the Discord, it is linked on Twitter. It is linked in the description of this video. You can always join us there and talk to me anytime. First question from Discord says, this is from 481 by the way. Any reliability issues so far on your unit, or have you been taking precautions to avoid it? Yeah, like I mentioned, besides the Demon Souls thing, my system, and that was all completely a me thing, my system has been flawless. No errors, no problems, no nothing. Fat Ren says, what new PS5 games have you played, and where are you in Demon Souls, and have you finished Astro? So I'm on the last level for Astro. In Demon Souls, I'm in the Nexus Hub. I haven't even gotten past the Nexus Hub. I did that for a little bit, and I was like, I gotta get to other games. There's too many games. Still gotta play Yakuza, still gotta play Miles, still gotta finish Astro. K-Dog says, do you think Scrambled Eggs will come to the West, and will it be on more platforms? 100%. Especially, Jesus, after last week, playing Persona 5 Scramble in 4K, running at 60, smooth as butter, that was one of the most next-gen things I've done. And it was backwards compatibility. That was like the craziest part. It just killed all the loads in the game. Like, going back to a loading screen, I'm wondering how much it's going to affect stuff like Age of Calamity. Because Age of Calamity actually doesn't have a lot of load screens, but it does have pretty long-ish loads by comparison. So it'll be very curious to see how much it does. But yeah, so platforms, the obvious ones are going to get PS4, hopefully a native PS5 version. Like, if it could, oh my god, if we could get like 120 Scramble, like if Koei Tecmo could do it for Neo, there's nothing stopping them from doing it for Scramble, so that would be amazing. But yeah, so at least expect PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC. Xbox, I really, really hope, but that one just kind of more depends in terms of, is Atlus willing to, like, publish? I know Koei Tecmo could develop it and port it very easily, but that's more of a, hey, Atlus, are you willing to, like, trust it? At the very least, I think digital is, like, no question, it should happen. Physically, though, is a whole nother thing, but I think that also depends on, like, hey, how are Sega sales doing with Xbox? I think Yakuza 7 is going to be a really big judge of that. Melodic Max, going back to YouTube. If PS3 uses emulators for the for PSN with PS1 and PS2 games, why can't PS4 do that? So the architecture that was built on the PS3 cell structure is very, very different from PS4. And Sony's, one of their big things with PS4 is they wanted everything to kind of feel more forward compatible. And that's why there wasn't backwards compatibility with any of the systems. And when there was backwards compatibility with PS2 or PS3 through PlayStation Now, you could always still do stuff like earning trophies or streaming and whatnot. So that's why that separation is there of, like, you couldn't just, like, bake in an emulator like the PS3 and then add trophies on PS4 without that extra couple of steps. But unfortunately, those extra steps scared away a lot of developers and also ended up scaring away enough customers to make Sony not want to do it anymore. Daniel 1018 says, if you have an Xbox Series X or S, are you liking it? No, I do not have one, but I would really, really like to get one eventually, just because I think a lot of the stuff that Microsoft is doing is really, really smart and really, really consumer friendly right now. Mirth Mouser says, does Catherine Full Body run differently on PS5? So I've played I played all of the Atlus games I own. The only Atlus game I have not played on a PS5 is Dragon's Crown, just because I don't have Dragon's Crown for PS4. All the Vanillaware stuff runs exactly the same. No faster loads, no better gameplay, but hey, they're the exact same thing. Besides that, though, Catherine, unfortunately, is kind of like Royal and Vanilla, where, yep, it looks good. Loads are still the same, because there are a lot of just baked-in loading animations or loading screens, and doesn't play any better, still locked to 30 FPS, which is kind of a bummer, and it was just so unremarkable I didn't even feel like including it in the Persona on PlayStation 5 video, so good news, Catherine Full Body works like a charm. Bad news, there is literally no improvements to playing it on the PlayStation 5 compared to the PlayStation 4. Let's go next to Twitter questions, which I know I have a whole heaping heck of a lot of. Daniel also asked, what is my favorite PlayStation 5 game so far? So natively, I technically only have Astro, Miles, Spider-Man Remastered, Demon Souls, and Puyo Puyo Tetris. And out of all of those, I think the one I've put the most time into is Astro. So too early to tell, but I will say this, I have not been this happy with a launch of a new system in a very, very long time. Let us see. Alright, so here we have a whole bunch of questions we're going to rapid fire from Persona Forever, but I know I have at least one left on Facebook I'm going to do really quick from good long-term friend of the show, Steven. Steven Yip says, how are you? How is owning the PlayStation 5 so far? Hopefully I've already answered that. What games have you been most glad to play on the new system? Oddly, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. It's been so fun to play a rhythm game on the PS5 controller. Like, the DualSense's buttons are just the perfect level of clickiness for, like, a really, really receptive rhythm game. That's why I was, like, really surprised when I saw some people on Twitter saying that playing Dancing All Night felt kind of off on the PS5. Like, it all felt just perfect for me. Like, that controller is made to play just about anything, but especially rhythm games. So this is a little bit of a sad one. I'm a bit sad personally because this is the first Sony system I haven't gotten at launch since the PlayStation 1. I've gotten every single one from PlayStation 2, Portable, Vita, PS3, and PS4 on launch. Which I just want to say, man, that really, really sucks. I know a lot of people have been missing out on the system, but hey, I hope that when you do get it, you are able to enjoy the hell out of it, and I know you will probably love it, man. And to everyone else out there, yeah, if you were not able to get a PlayStation 5, hopefully, again, you don't go for scalper prices and can just be patient and find one. And if you guys ever are able to get a PlayStation 5, please let me know. I enjoy seeing people getting new systems. It is always a very jolly time. Alright, so we're going to wrap this up with some rapid-fire questions and hopefully rapid-fire answers from Persona Forever, who I feel like has not done questions in a while. First one. Let's see. Oh, these are spaced out all over the place. Now that the PS5 is released, what do you think about Scramble having a Western announcement? I would say the chances of it getting announced are still just as likely to be any day now, but it's just going to be so underwhelming no matter what it is. So that's why I'm like, it's probably just going to be a random Tuesday. Someone's going to tweet something, and then everyone on Twitter is going to dunk on them for a day, and then we're just going to go on acting like, okay, hey, remember that weird time they took 600 days to announce a game? That's pretty much it. Do I see any improvements coming, like a Dynasty Warriors Extreme Legends for Scramble? I really want to hope so, but I think it's been so long, it would be very weird that Koei Tecmo has not given any signs of it. But hey, Koei Tecmo literally did just update the game this week to fix a bug specifically on the PS5 version, so clearly they are still working on it in some sense, at least for support. Next up says, trying to fix and get all these in order of how they were asked. Have you played any fighting games on the PlayStation 5? No, actually. Fighting games are one of the few I haven't. I think one of the reasons is I like to play them locally, and I only have one DualSense controller, so pretty much have been sticking to single-player things. The only example of me not sticking with it is playing PS4 games. I have played a couple PS4 games multiplayer, like with Kingdom Hearts or Puyo Puyo Tetris, but that's about it. Let us see. Number 3 asks, Persona 5 Scramble is a sequel to the OG Persona 5. I've had some friends believe this, but according to some people, they say that this is because, according to an interview that we all watched, it was mentioned that Persona 5 Scramble takes place after P5 because of the phrase, they believed it's the OG P5 and not R. I think one of the big things that sort of goes into the fact that people think Scramble is only after Vanilla is because that it was made after Vanilla had released, but was finished before Royal came out in Japan. Was finished before Royal came out internationally. So, honestly, as someone who's played all 3 of those games, there is nothing about Scramble's story that stops it from including people like Maruki or Akechi or even Kasumi. It is just pretty much all a hearsay thing. Like I wouldn't like tell people to get that worked up about it. What about Bugsnax? Mirth brings up a great point. I had someone ask me about this today. I am interested and I'm excited about Bugsnax. I don't have PlayStation Plus. I just personally don't think it's worth it. I have such a backlog of games anyway that for Bugsnax for me, like, I've heard a lot of great stuff about it. I'm just waiting for the physical versions to release. So once those get brought out to stores by Fangamer, I'm going to pick up Bugsnax, but that's about it. Yeah, Juliar brings up a great point and saying Scramble can fit after either version of Persona 5. It fits both. Because, like, hey, guess what? Both games end with him leaving. Like, him leaving and coming back, that's the main extent of what Persona 5's ending's about. At least in terms of how it relates to Scramble. Alright, we have a couple of other little things he's kind of speculating on. But I'm going to be honest, I am feeling the effects of all of my food and talking to you lovely people for almost an hour and a half very hard. So I'm going to finish the rest of my water really fast. If you guys have any last minute questions, please let me know. But again, I just want to say thank you guys all so much for watching this live. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this pre-recorded after I post this online. It has been so much fun to come back and talk to you guys. Sorry so much again for no episode last week. I probably should have advocated a little bit more. My plans to do the spoiler cast were going to take over that weekly slot for the podcast. But at the same time, I also didn't really want to just be like, oh, I'm just going to post this like it's an episode of the show. Because, let's be honest, not everyone who listens to this podcast owns a copy of 13 Sentinels, let alone has beat 13 Sentinels. So it didn't really seem fair to just put it on the RSS feed. So it seemed like we were dead for a week. It's because I technically did a podcast. I just didn't put it on the feed. So that would be why. Thank you very much for waiting that long. Vela, hello. Thank you for joining us as we're in the process of ending, but I appreciate you for coming on. Mirth, I'll say this, especially because you're in such a unique place. As someone who missed the PlayStation 4 generation, PlayStation Plus is, the perfect thing for you to buy. So, don't worry about that. You're not like someone like me. I'm right next to my PS4 shelf of... I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shelves right next to me, all full of PlayStation 4 games. It's okay, yeah, I don't need another free game for the rest of my life, at least in terms of PlayStation Plus. I'm good. Humble bragging aside, thank you guys again so much for watching, listening, and supporting the channel, especially supporting the channel. Oh my god. This week has been crazy. You guys have been so great in terms of helping me watch the videos, share the videos, be active in the videos with the comments. The Persona 5 on PlayStation 5 video has been doing crazy numbers. In less than a week, it has already reached over 12,000 views, which is my number one, which is my most viewed video I've ever had on the channel, which is just insane. So, thank you. Wow, I'm having the hiccups now. Sounds like I'm crying, I'm sure. Thank you so much for that. Thank you also if anyone has checked out my Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 video on PlayStation 5. I really appreciate it. Relax, Alex 4. Don't worry if you just got here. You can go back to the very beginning and watch that there. No, 481, you're not supposed to remember the Baby Tyragon video. That's not viewable in America. It's not real to them. Don't remind them that my most viewed video is actually just a webcam of me recording Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Please, don't remind them. Yes, relax, Alex. You can go back, refresh the video when it's all done, or even go all the way back now, I think, and check out the live episode there. But thank you so much for popping on even just for a second. 481, you really threw me for a loop there. Either way, guys, Neo, thank you so much for joining. Just joined the Discord. Have a good one. So awesome. But yes, if you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Torchwood4SP. You can follow the channel by searching Spencer Presley or Shin Megami Tensei Network. We are stupidly close to almost 1.5 thousand subscribers, which is insane because 2 months ago I just hit 1K. So I am really humbled by all the continued attention for all of this. You guys are the best, and growing this community means so much to me, and just really great that I can keep going, not only with SMTN on a weekly basis with the podcast, but just doing videos and talking about just about whatever. Besides that, if you would like to follow more of the podcast, you can join the podcast on Twitter at SMT Network. You can join the Discord by looking at the links through various places below. If you are listening on Spotify, iTunes, or Google Podcasts, please consider rating and reviewing us. It really helps us find more people to help join the community. Speaking of that, you can join the Facebook community by going to facebook.com/groups/SMT Network. We are always very active in there. I think there's over 7,000 members now at this point. But yeah, once again, guys, thank you so much. This episode has been such a blast. I love talking with all of you guys. It is a new generation of games are here. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, and anything that will help us wait out the long storm of waiting for those scrambled eggs will always help. So either way, guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a good one. I will see you later. Alright, goodbye everybody. For realsies, the recording is done, but hey, Goodbye Mirth, goodbye Killamo, goodbye Mark, goodbye Khalil, goodbye Neo, goodbye 481, goodbye Relax Alex, goodbye Vela, goodbye Mary, goodbye Julie, goodbye Miguel, goodbye My Eyes Bleeding, goodbye Melodic Max, goodbye Demi Crow, goodbye King Narakami, goodbye Let's Happy, goodbye Boniacs, goodbye Jack Frost. Oh god, Jack Frost, what a top 5. Goodbye Pokemon Master, and anyone else who I might have forgotten. Thank you all so much for watching live. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel if you already do. You guys are the best. I'm going to go pass out. Goodbye, Peggy1539. I'm totally going to die next Friday. Oh my god, yeah! Next Friday. Age of Calamity. Get excited, guys. Unless there's something else the week after. What else is the next... Oh, wait. That'd be Black Friday. Okay, nobody die on Black Friday. Die for Age of Calamity with hype. No one actually die for Black Friday. That'd be bad. Alright, guys. Thanks again for watching. I will see you later. Bye.